Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're uncovering how a small rainforest rodent miraculously bridges the gap between ancient ecosystems and modern medical science.
Okay, so let's dive right into what seems like an impossible mystery. What could possibly connect extinct Pleistocene giants, the crunch of a Brazil nut, and the actual molecular mechanisms of human diabetes? Well, we're going to discover the single and honestly kind of adorable creature that ties all these wildly different concepts together.
Here's our roadmap for today. 1. Meet the agouti. 2. The Brazil nut saver. 3. Replacing ancient giants. 4. The agouti gene twist. And finally, 5. Pets and population.
Let's start on the micro level. Section 1. Meet the agouti, the rainforest's agile resident.
Now, it's incredibly easy to confuse the dainty agouti with its heavier cousin, the paca. But side by side, you can really see the differences. The agouti is totally a lightweight, coming in at up to just 9 pounds. It has this solid or sometimes speckled glossy coat, and it basically tiptoes around. The paca, on the other hand, is much stockier, has short legs, and sports these very distinctive white spots or stripes.
6 feet. That is a completely mind-boggling stat. Do not let their small, rabbit-like size fool you. These incredibly agile creatures can literally launch themselves 6 feet straight into the air from a dead stop. Imagine a 9-pound rodent just rocketing past your head. It's a vital survival mechanism in the wild, to escape predators like ocelots and jaguars.
They also boast a remarkably long lifespan for rodents. They can survive up to 2 whole decades in captivity. And get this, they do it alongside a permanently bonded, monogamous partner. So yeah, they really are long-term planners in literally every sense of the word.
Moving right along, let's see how this builds into an ecosystem-level impact. Section 2. The Brazil nut savior, a crucial ecological role.
So here's the absolute crucial point. The agouti is literally the only mammal with the teeth and jaw strength to break open the massive 5-pound Brazil nut fruit. And here's how their sort of accidental farming works. The agouti cracks open this incredibly hard pod, eats some of the nuts, and then buries the rest for later. But they hoard way more than they can actually remember, so they forget about these hidden stashes, and boom, a new 160-foot tree eventually grows.
And without the agouti continuously planting these 500-year-old trees, indigenous and riverine communities would actually lose a vital cornerstone of their daily nutrition and culture. Because Brazil nuts aren't just a snack, right? They're absolutely essential for traditional padomiu or manzape cakes. They provide these great nutritious milk alternatives, and the empty shells are even crafted into musical maracas for traditional dances. It's the whole shebang.
But how exactly did a 9-pound rodent end up shouldering the responsibility of maintaining the entire Brazil nut tree population? Section 3. Replacing ancient giants, the evolutionary shift.
Over 10,000 years ago, back during the Pleistocene era, massive megafauna, like the elephant-sized gomphotheres, roamed the earth, eating giant fruits and dispersing large tropical seeds over these vast distances. But when those megafauna were hunted to extinction, it left behind a colossal ecological void. Fast forward to the present day, and it's the tiny little agouti that stepped up to fill the giant footprints of those extinct beasts.
They've actually been called thieving rodents as saviors of tropical trees for a very good reason. By constantly stealing and rehiding seeds up to 280 meters away from their starting point, they basically single-handedly ensure the survival of these plants. And they don't just bury a seed once. Oh no, they watch each other, they steal from each other's caches, and they move the seeds further and further away. It's like a giant puzzle they're all playing.
Okay, now we're going to take a massive conceptual leap from the rainforest floor straight to the sterile environment of modern medical science. Section 4. The agouti gene twist, from canopy to clinic. Believe it or not, the agouti actually lends its name to a very famous gene in molecular biology. To understand this, we first need to understand a term called ectopic expression. Simply put, this is the abnormal expression of a normal gene in tissues where it just isn't typically active. So in a normal mouse, the agouti gene just dictates hair pigment. But when it's ectopically expressed everywhere in the body, the physical results are absolutely staggering. When tracking transgenic mice that are ectopically expressing the wild-type agouti gene across all their tissues, the weight gain is dramatic. Compared to normal controls, the growth rate for the transgenic mice just rockets upward. By simply expressing this one gene in the wrong places, these mice develop marked severe obesity. And it goes far beyond just weight, too. The ectopic expression of the normal agouti protein alone is sufficient to cause hyperinsulinemia and hyperglycemia. In fact, the highly elevated mean plasma glucose levels in male transgenic mice effectively mimic human type 2 diabetes. And remember, this is all stemming from that exact same agouti genetic sequence.
So tying it all together, the agouti gene mutation links yellow fur, marked obesity, type 2 diabetes, and even an increased susceptibility to tumor development. It's wild. A single genetic sequence named after our tree-planting rainforest rodent has actually become a major key for researchers working to understand profound human metabolic disorders. It's a completely unexpected bridge right from the jungle canopy to the medical clinic.
Bringing our focus back to the animal itself, let's take a look at how the agouti is faring out there in the modern world. Section 5, Pets and Population, the agouti today.
Now you might look at an agouti and think, oh wow, what a cute pet. And yes, they are kept as exotic pets, and captive-bred ones can be quite friendly. But keeping one in your home? That's a 20-year commitment that requires dealing with some very wild traits. Owners have to manage that 6-foot jumping ability we talked about, their incredibly strong chewing habits, and, perhaps most challenging of all, the super odoriferous territorial marking from their anal glands. So yeah, it's safe to say they can be very smelly housemates. And what about their wild populations? Well, the data from the IUCN Red List brings us a mix of good and bad news. Although most species, about 9 of them, are stable and categorized as least concern or data deficient, human activities like hunting for their meat plus habitat loss from deforestation have pushed specific populations, like the Mexican and Rutan Island agoutis, right to the brink of extinction. Let's quickly review the immense footprint of this tiny creature. From literally sustaining 500-year-old trees and carrying the torch of Pleistocene giants, all the way to unlocking the molecular mechanisms of human diabetes, the outsized impact of this tiny animal truly cannot be overstated.
Which brings us to a fascinating final thought for today. If a 9-pound rodent running around the Amazon holds the key to both tropical ecology and a much better understanding of metabolic disease, it really leaves us wondering, what other life-saving secrets are hiding in the DNA of the world's most unassuming creatures? What other incredible scientific breakthroughs are just out there waiting to be discovered in the wild? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep wondering and keep learning.